joining us, family. We hope you had a productive weekend. Later, Black politics expert Dr. James Taylor will be back in our classroom. Dr. Taylor is a political scientist by trade, teacher at the University of San Francisco. Still in the students out there, but just fight to get in these classes. And if you keep listening, you'll know why. Anyway, today he's going to talk about the importance of Black History Month. Dr. Taylor also discussed the issues surrounding Whoopi Goldberg, Brian Flores, and more. But to get us started, financial advisor J.B. Bryan is here. J.B., welcome back to WL Radio.
That sounds so good. It is so good to be here. And I have to make sure I listen to Dr. Taylor's discussion. That's one of my favorite books. The Miseducation of the Negro goes way over into my industry as well. So I enjoy discussing that book.
All right, before we get started, are you live? Are you on several platforms? Can you tell us
Everywhere.
which ones you are?
Definitely everywhere. If you're on YouTube, make sure you go to Afroeconomics with JB Bryan. They'll hear every word that we say. Also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I don't know. That will probably be it. But 2 Facebook pages. So it's all over Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So no excuse. Make sure you check out Carl Nelson live today. How are you?
All right, folks. You can see JB on the screen. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, great.
Hi, JB.
Great. Can you see the
JB.
comments? You can see the comments from Mr. Wynn. He just told you good afternoon. That's great. Okay.
But anyway, because a lot of people are asking, they're all asking, when are you coming back? So I told them you're coming back this week. Well, let's start it off. Let's look at the market first. Anything in there you see that looks good for us for our people?
I love what you brought up about our community being skipped over in the recovery of the economy, because it really brings home and wakes me up, because in my industry, all I do is think about this great recovery that we're going through and that investors are able to participate in this recovery. But when we look at the Black community and the Black worker that lost their job prior to the pandemic, the research says, from a Washington Post research that they survey, it said that even the highly educated Black person is not getting a chance to go back to work yet. Now, these are 2021. Now, as of today, maybe, everything got a lot better for us. But when you look at our numbers, we still have a lot of people that need to get back to work in our community. And those who have been hit the hardest, and I'm glad that you brought this up, Carl, is the Black woman. And I think a lot of that is because of still struggling with getting the affordable daycare, childcare challenges, and if the school is still on going virtual, or sometimes they're virtual, sometimes they're not, and closing down schools unexpectedly really impacts that custodial parent, which is more likely to be the mother.
Yeah, that's interesting you would say that, because on top of all of that, JB, there's a report that 70% of folks are living paycheck to paycheck. Hopefully some of them are listening to you right now, so maybe they can get some help.
But Carl,
how to maximize their money. But go ahead.
The survey says that people making $100,000 a year. So this is not people that are making a little bit of money. $100,000 to me is good income. That's well above the average family of 4 for America. So the survey is saying that people making 100,000 or more are struggling to pay their bills. 70% of them are sick. So what that tells us is that they're really living beyond their means. That we're getting all of these credit card offers and financing offers, and it's becoming a problem, and it's catching up, especially if you have a good government job, which a huge employer for our community is the government. So if you have one of these good government jobs, they love attaching a draft to your paycheck, especially our military men. They sometimes have to file bankruptcy because of so many drafts that they have coming out of their paycheck before they even get to feed their families. So we have to realize that even though our job presents itself as very stable, you still only have a certain amount of income for that month. And if you're overspending, it's going to cause a crisis for you. And I think that we get really excited when you're making a lot of money. You go, oh, I'm making six digits, that you think that because you're making so much that means that you're going to be a better manager of your money. But that's not how it works. There's billionaires, millionaires that have gone broke. I don't know. They probably could find some billionaires, but I know there's millionaires who are still bankrupt and had to file bankruptcy because they're spending more than they're actually making. Anybody, even if you have a mortgage loan, you really are already spending more than you actually have. You're already living beyond your means because you couldn't afford to buy and pay for the house all at one time. No, and then we, don't realize, oh, we think that's good debt and this over here, this category is bad debt, but debt truly is debt and you owe all of it back. Carl, there's
Right.
also recent research that said that over 50% of the people who have school loans are feel that it wasn't worth it. Over 50%.
Mm. Wow. Well, since we're talking dollars now, the minimum wage, they're trying to make it
Mm.
to $15 an hour. Your thoughts?
I think it's frightening that our federal minimum wage is like less than $8 an hour. That there are actually people out there who companies are allowed to pay by federal law less than $8 an hour. So you can literally work 40 hours and still be in poverty is sad. So, but the goal for Congress or what the Democrats are presenting is to get to $15, which is in a couple of years ago's numbers, the livable wage for America. Now, this is before all of this inflation and the pandemic and all. It was $15 was the livable wage. Now, we are now arguing in Congress about raising it to 15 in the year 2025. How ridiculous is that discussion? How do they actually get away with that? How does it that it's not even livable today? And we're like trying to get there for 2025 and they're arguing about it. There's something wrong. Uh, it's just something wrong with that. And it's good that they're trying to present, but if you're going to go through all of this arguing and all of this work, could you please adjust it so that by the year 2025 it's actually a livable wage? By the year 2025, that 15 is going to represent the same as 7.95 or $8, whatever. It's going to represent the same as what the problem that we have today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me
Mm.
ask you this: couldn't they just put an escalated clause in there using the
Yeah, some sort of
inflation rate?
inflation hedge or something like that.
Yeah.
I know. Easily they could. Easily. They do that for Social Security. The Social Security each year is adjusted for inflation. Just like this year, saying that it's still Social Security was brought up 5%, and they're saying that the government's inflation rate calculation is 7%. So even people on Social Security really didn't get the proper adjustment if we look at it correctly, deeply.
Right. Well,
But
let me ask you a political
uh,
question here,
mhm,
JB. Do you
mhm.
think they're keeping that rate low because they want to offload the jobs overseas? Because they can get it done much cheaper overseas. And they, once they go overseas, they're not
Mm,
coming back. You think there's some
mm,
political
mm.
machinations gone behind the scenes with this minimum wage issue?
Well, if that's the case, that I've seen some offers for overseas jobs, which I keep all of my company positions in America. I had one person that left the country and I still continue to pay her what I was paying her in the United States. But she wanted to leave the country and I could have adjusted it. But I feel that if an employer wants to do that, they're already doing it. Some of these jobs that are now at least getting minimum wage, if you take it overseas, they're paying $3, $4 an hour to workers overseas. So that it's not to stop the workers here from being able to take care of their families is not a way to make sure that they could who literally it's like a one step up from slavery when you're getting paid that much less than a livable wage. You're basically being paid half of what you have decided I need to live off of, and you're making me go and work for it. What kind of morale would that, is that encouraging?
Yeah, what you saying, JB? People, they know that. These politicians on
Mm-hmm.
Capitol Hill, they know that.
Yes.
What you just said, they know that. They've been told that all along, and we know that many of them are funded by big business. That's why I'm saying if this issue here with the minimum wage it's we can't find, now they can't find any workers. That's the newest thing now. And they used to blame the immigrants, and one time they used to blame black folks for taking all the jobs. Now, who are they pointing the finger at now? Whose fault is all these jobs are available?
Yeah, and there are jobs available that our community can't take advantage of because we don't have the technology that is needed to work the job. Like the position is available, but it requires internet and a computer networking system for you to have in your house. Well, we know by research.
JB, we got to take a short break. Hold on, and I'll let you expound on that. That's interesting because they'll say that our folks don't want to work, but again, there are jobs out there. But you're saying there are reasons why we can't get those jobs. Folks, what are your thoughts? Reach out to us 800-450-7876. Speak to JB Bryan. We'll take your calls next after this short break on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
So much.
We have a few new accidents in the district. Additional traffic is paid for by Casper Fleet.
I see you.
Upgrade your presidential suite during the super sale.
Yes, indeed.
Up to $595
off.
Thank
you, Mike.
Award-winning mattresses and 10% off everything else. Details at
I have to remember that Carl and I were discussing why we're not able to accept some of the jobs, because he'll come back and I will have lost my focus. I better make sure, because it's a very good point.
First Street Northeast, also police activity closing M Street in both directions, east and west, between 3rd Street and 4th Street Southwest. You'll want to avoid that if at all possible. We're also witnessing delays building quickly in the district. Sluggish for you on DC 295 northbound. From the 11th Street Bridge passing Pennsylvania Avenue. Tropical pace delays continue in both directions.
Traffic update.
East Capitol Street and Burroughs Avenue. I'm Taryn Galbraith for News Talk 1450 AM WOL, where information is power.
Tonight on TV One, True Crime Monday. She was begging for her life.
It was if I can't have it, nobody else can.
Washington Post.
Attraction at 9.
Who could have committed such a horrific crime?
Then at 10, and all new Sins of the City.
Absolutely no one has been charged for any bullets that entered Breonna Taylor's body.
True Crime Monday, starting with Fatal Attraction at 9, followed by an all new Sins of the City at 10 on TV One.
This is reality radio. The reality is that for far too long, there have been efforts to refocus the now $1.3 trillion annual spending power of the Black consumer market. Over the past several decades, there have been numerous Buy Black campaigns, but still, only about 3% of that $1.3 trillion circulates back to the Black community. So, let's try it again. Each week, we will identify 3 Black-owned businesses on Tuesday and spend money with them for the week. And then on the next Tuesday, we will identify 3 more in our local communities. The businesses for this week are
Popcorn Munchies, PopcornMunchies4.com, Sugar and Spice Restaurant, SugarandSpiceRest.com, One United Bank, OneUnited.com.
This is Reality Radio with Kathy Hughes. What's your reality?
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000.
Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief took care of Eric's problem.
And now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-811-7033. 800-811-7033.
Optima Tax Relief.
The Carl Nelson Show, now available on iTunes.
Thanks for staying with us, folks. I guess it's JB Bryan. JB is a financial advisor. You got questions about money, about your own money? reach out to us at 800-450-7876. You want to see JB? She's live. JB, you're on Facebook. What other platforms are you on right now? Folks can see you.
Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Okay, cool.
That's right.
Folks, just check us out there, and you can put your questions there too. And JB, if you get questions, you can just read them. But here's the discussion that we were having before we left for the break. They say the jobs are coming back. There's a surge. We heard of the last, which caught them by surprise. But what they didn't mention in the opening statements is that many of those jobs aren't going to us. You said it's an issue why we aren't part of this economic recovery, getting these jobs. What is it?
I'm going to read this from the Washington Post article from September of 2021. Black Americans with bachelor's or advanced college degrees are struggling to regain lost ground during the pandemic. Their unemployment is higher than white high school graduates, an analysis found. But looking across all groups, employment among Black women is the least recovered, with more than 550,000 fewer Black women working than they were, and this is late last year, than they were in February of 2020. So they haven't since the pandemic was in March, started in March of 2020. They went back and we're not back in the workforce. We're not recovering. And some of the reasons for that, which we were talking about, is because of they don't have access, or a lot of us, we don't have access to the internet, don't have access to childcare. And this is in there as well. In the research, it says highly uneven recovery has been driven by long-standing problems in the access to internet and childcare. So our leaders know this. This is their data. Hiring slowed even last summer. Supply chain issues got worse. Inflation remained high. Consumer sentiment plunged. And this is last year. It's the same thing going on right now today. Consumer sentiment.
I want to throw this in here, JB, because the racial issue too, and I don't want to get too deep with it. But we saw with Brian Flores, the football coach. You remember that story? He was selected for a job, or thought he was selected. But they already had made up their mind, and he went through the sham interview. I'm just wondering, how many times does this happen to us when we apply for jobs? Not necessarily, high-profile jobs like coach the New York Giants, or but just a regular job that they already have selected their person, and we come in and they just play us, if you will.
Yes, but that is a major reason why I always have been, even with my multiple degrees, never wanted to be in a position that someone else could determine my performance. So because of that, I've always had to be in sales, commission-based, because I realized that I never make the money that I needed to pay off my school loans if I just kept that cushy job that I had at the bank as a credit analyst reviewing loans. It was a nice job, but I had to get out there and hustle, because you can't, what is Money Mayweather says, the numbers don't lie. So I go out and I would produce. And yes, maybe I had to work 10 times harder, but at least I knew my money was my money. But you still have the challenge of other people are getting better payouts than you are, and you don't even know it. So we still have that challenge. But he definitely it really touched home with me, because I remember going through where the landlord didn't want my business in his building anymore. And so he wrote in his contract, he had a clause that said, as long as he gave me 30 days and he paid me for a month, then he only had to give me 30 days notice to leave. So he did it. And then his wife, in the middle of it, sent an email talking about me. I'm not going to give her anything. Don't do anything. We're not going to pay her for anything. And I replied like, am I her? Or are you referring to me? She did a reply all. And that's what happened with this brother, where the decision maker sent the announcement about the job to the wrong person. I'm telling you, people have to be more careful. So when I took them to court, I certainly used it against her and gave the judge the printout of her saying all those ugly things of her opinion of me, and that's why they wanted to end the lease. But that is ridiculous what we have to go through professionally. So I had to change all of my printing, all of my letterhead, all of my things because of some woman's, his wife even, of her dislike for me. And I don't even think I'd ever even had a conversation with that human being.
Wow. Well,
That's it.
that's what it is. Live black in America. That's what that
Yes,
is.
yes, yes. And it costs so much. That move, that 1 month rent, that's all they had to do. But it cost me. And I had to go to the judge and take the time in order for them to keep their own contract. But it costs so much on our end.
Yeah, those are the battles that we have to fight on an almost daily basis.
Yes.
We got some tweets for you. We got some folks who want to talk to you, JB. Weeda's calling us. Weeda's in Gardena. I think that's out in California. Is that Weeda online too?
Yes. Good afternoon, and thanks for taking my call. Yes, this is Weeda from Georgia. But I have a question for you, JB, as it relates to finance.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a stock that you have in one of your portfolio stock delisted. My question is, what is the likelihood of that stock relisting? And then also, if that stock does relist, will it relist under the same CUSIP/CDOL, or would it come back in perhaps under a whole nother CUSIP, whole nother ticker, whole nother name?
It really doesn't mean anything. Like, if it to be delisted, that means the company was small already. So I would just focus on contacting the corporation, looking at my mail, seeing, what the value is and how they want you to make your transactions. Delisting just means that I couldn't put it in your portfolio and trade it for you. So what you could actually contact them, they might even be going private. Like sometimes a company will go public and then they'll come back private. They'll buy back their own shares, and then they might allow some other, because they want to be bought out or bought up. But it doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world, but you definitely have to get more details.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
indeed.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Great question.
Got a tweet for you, JB. The person wants to, can you explain the child care credit?
Yeah, did you know that there's like, look, throwing out stats, but about 25%, this is according to TurboTax, they said that 25% of the people that qualify for the child tax credit don't know it. Like there's just a whole bunch of people out there that qualify for it and they don't take advantage of it. So they must have got it from the IRS, that information. But because they're not going to, like, the IRS is not going to like write you a letter and say, you qualify for the child tax credit. You know what I mean? You have to do your return correctly. And if you're using something like a TurboTax, not to give them a commercial, but if you're using an automated system, if you answer the questions correctly, they will tell you you qualify for the child tax credit or you don't. But I think that we have the earned income child tax credit. So in order to qualify for it, you have to be making some income. So when you're making, you have to earn income in order to earn the child tax credit. So there are situations where literally because of working, a person can actually get more back on their tax return than they actually paid in, I think, in taxes. But you have to take advantage of it first to see how it works out for you. But it is definitely probably one of the most overlooked credits on your tax return because people don't file. They don't worry about, they don't think, like they might say, well, I only made 10,000, so I don't have to, file. But if you made 10,000 and you have two children, then you may qualify for that child tax credit. So you have to do the return in order to get it. or find out if you qualify at all. But you have to take that step. Don't be afraid. You can go to irs.gov and do a free tax return right there. And it'll click here for a free tax return if your income is below this certain amount. It's like, I think at least half of American workers qualify for doing a free tax return, even if they use like one of these automated systems, because that's the way they really send you to. I think if you even go to one of the popular names, if your income is a certain level, they have to do it for you for free, I think. But I know if you go to irs.gov and they will tell you your income this, click here, do a free return, and you can get that done. Just answer the questions and take your time. I help the members of Afro Economics all the time and just reviewing their taxes and going over it. I don't prepare taxes, but we plan. As an investment advisor, financial advisor, it's important for me to help you know the impact of different things that you do and their impact that they have on your income. And that right now, people who qualify for the child tax credit are getting the money early. So when they do their tax return, the IRS knows, oh, you got that money already. So your return will not be as high. And that's the only thing that I want to make sure that people realize, that, if you're getting, that child tax credit early, that may reduce what you actually get at tax time. So
Hold that thought
just
right
be
there,
on point.
JB. I'll let you expand on that on the other side. Got another tweet for you, and I'll let you marinate over this one. This person says he's got a $15,000 judgment and wants to put in a CD, if that's the best place to put it. I'll let you respond to that on the other side of the short break right here on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Let the One VIP Visa debit card make getting your tax refund simple and easy. It's free to get and no credit check. Enroll in direct deposit and get your refund back faster than
How much should a beginner investor spend on their first investment property?
Go to onevip.com and
All
get
you
your card
got.
today. The One VIP is a prepaid
You better
card
not.
issued by Stride Bank in a
I don't know, Miss
FDIC
Bussy. We got to
pursuant to
talk
a
about
license
that.
from Visa USA Inc. Use of the One
Talk
VIP
about that.
card is subject to terms and conditions.
I guess we're talking about the investment property. You want to, in order to get a great return on an investment, you want to put in the least amount possible, right? In order to increase your return. So, you have to figure that out, right? And we have to make sure it's a good investment. Just because something's cheap doesn't mean it's good. How about that? Sometimes we think, oh, it's only $10. But just because it's only $10 doesn't mean it's still good. You might get it for $10 and it breaks. You would have been better paying $20 and one that lasts forever. Snoopy dude. Snoopy D, you crazy.
Minimally invasive vascular center.
That's right.
Specialists that can evaluate and treat your vascular-related erectile dysfunction.
And then manage your money.
They are here to help
I
with
could
your
go like this.
cardiovascular needs.
Let me see
They
if
are
I
open
go
for
like
business
that.
and stand by their
Oh, if I
commitment to
put them up
provide
here, I
world-class
can't bring
care.
your
Go to
things down there.
MIBCMD.com. That's MIBCMD.com or call
Oh, thank you, Devin.
855-803-MIBC.
Golly, Devin.
To make your
Good to
appointment
see you.
today. They focus on your circulation to keep you going. Get
That's
healthy
right.
so you can enjoy life. And remember, getting older does not mean the end of your sex life.
I can't see. Oh, if I look down
Thanks for
here.
staying with us, folks. I guess it's JB. Brian JB is a financial advisor. You got a question about your finances, reach out to us at 800-450-7876. JB's also broadcasting live on a lot of platforms, the regulars, Facebook, YouTube. She's
That's
there if you
right.
want to see what she looks like. Before we left, though, we were talking about the child credit, tax credit. So I'll let you finish about that, and then we'll tackle this other tweet I got about the person who received a $15,000 judgment wants to put in a CD. But I'll let you finish out the first part first, JB.
The one thing, I guess there's many things, but one thing that I really love about the government is that it has rules. So I believe that we aren't confident enough about looking at the rule book. See, because we can't even see if somebody didn't apply a rule. You know, the IRS makes mistakes. And the only reason people know that they make mistakes is because they know the rule. So, and really for the person who wants to know and understand the child tax credit, you should go right to irs.gov and put in the search child tax credit, and then read, print out, and make sure and see if it is applicable to you. Don't even do Google, because you do Google, you're going around the barn. Go straight to the people who set it up. Go straight to the rule book. Straight to the rule book. And that's it. That is the best advice that anybody seriously should give you when it comes to taxes. Don't hesitate to go directly to the source. Almost any question, like even if you go and read another article about it, it has to refer back to the IRS. So why would I go farther away when I could go right to the source and find the answer? You know, there used to be a time we just call them. You know, you still could call them now, but you're gonna have to call a couple times and hold on for a long time. But you understand, we do know, even if you use the phone, go in there and search, do I qualify, or how to know that I qualify for the child tax credit, or what are the forms involved. There's so much information, you know, on there. And then you also definitely can go to afroeconomics.com, start coming to the Afroeconomics membership meetings, sign up for the free membership, and get in the right set. Get in the right set.
All right, JB, the other tweet we had, one adjustment for $15,000 and once put in the CD. Is that a good move?
It depends on the risk level, you know, and remember, everyone, I want you to remember, when you're talking to a licensed financial advisor, the first question, the first thing they should always answer with is it depends. If they don't, they're not going to be in business long. I have absolutely no idea about your risk tolerance level, your financial goals, what you're trying to accomplish, how long you can leave the money alone, your time horizon, all those types of questions. So the first thing what I do is give you what's called a risk analysis, and it asks, and the algorithm helps me kind of, you know, ask me some shortcut questions. What's your main goal? So it depends. But it's not like the CD is a bad idea. It just might not be your best thing to do. So we definitely don't limit yourself. But many cases, people might get some money and they don't have an emergency fund at all. So overall, if I just said, I just got to make sure I give this person an answer, the majority, as Carl mentioned, of Americans can't pay their bills. Like, you know, they're saying they're strapped and everything. Then that would mean it's highly likely that you should make sure that you keep that available to you. And most CDs have a penalty. They're not liquid. If you want it back, they might take part of your 15,000 if you need it within a year and stuff like that. If you don't have an emergency fund that will satisfy at least 90 days of your living expenses, you need to keep that money available to you without any penalties, or it needs to be extremely liquid. You want some interest, but the biggest return that you can make is making sure that that's available to you without any penalties.
All right. Yeah, another tweet question for you, JB.
Okay.
Tweeter says, JB, my niece wants to buy a home built from the ground up in Birmingham, Alabama, on a teaching salary of $60,000 plus. Should she wait or buy now?
Well, there's research out now saying that this is the majority of consumers feel that this is not the time to buy. That might not mean it's not the time to bill, but you know, her teacher's salary is not the problem. Banks love giving teachers loans. They know teacher will have a job. She's going to get the money typically. So she'll be able to get the loan um, as long as it's affordable for her and it's necessary and she needs, and it's an affordable place to live. You can't really say it's a bad idea, but the housing market is seen now as overpriced. So if she buys it now, God has given her a whole lot of evidence. Everything. Everybody knows that we're in times of inflation. So that means whatever she's paying is probably too much. As long as she's open-minded about that, because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how logical, how smart, how certain your decision. I mean, we can have every bit of evidence in the world that this is a bad decision for you, young person. They really will do it anyway when they want to do it. And that's unfortunate. But if the person who does think things through, understands delayed gratification, understands that if they wait, possibly they could get a better deal. But they might be like, I got to build this right now because I want this corner right here. And I want this one. And then this one is the only one they're going to build, then yeah, maybe they have to do it. But it just depends. You're probably more mature than that person. Of course, yeah, because you're an aunt or uncle or something. So you're talking about a young person, possibly half your age. They haven't gone through enough pain yet to appreciate your wisdom. They'll understand it later when they buy it and they build it and it goes down by 25, 20,000. You probably lived through that. And it's unfortunate because it's like, look at how many things we could avoid if we would learn to respect people who have gone through previous or similar situations and trust that maybe they do have your best interest in heart. But
all right, let me
yes.
jump in here and ask you this, JB. So you're saying that the housing market, the bubble's going to burst soon?
It might not even be soon, but it's gonna have to because the sales have slowed. You know what I mean? The purchases have slowed so much, and then even though they're still saying it's still a seller's market, if people are starting to not buy, how can it continue to be a seller's market? So they'll have to. It's all about supply and demand. So if the demand goes down, the prices have to slow down. The only thing that created this was so many contracts on the same property. I just don't relate to that. There's nothing that's that unique to me. I mean, Lord, if you buy anything, the next week after you buy it, there's always something better out there. I mean, the next time you go, wow, whoa, what about that? You have to literally close your eyes. So and not even look at anything else, because that's how fast things are changing. So, yes, people could be paying too much. Uh-huh.
Having said that, and his niece wants to get into the housing market, shouldn't she jump in now? Because if you say things are going to go up, is there any guarantee?
No, I'm saying that things are going to come back
down?
down. Yeah. I'm saying the prices are going to come back down because the demand, there's not going to be buyers. Interest rates are going up. So if interest rates are going up, then there's going to be certain people who can't afford it. It's going to slow down. And the Federal Reserve has promised that they're going to increase interest rates, and everything. So interest rates are already moving forward. Loan applications have slowed down. So it's, prices are going to have to go down. One thing that we can depend on is that, but will that particular property be there, right? Mm-hmm.
Right. What does this mean for like Washington D.C. and other inner cities that are going through gentrifications? Are you seeing that this gentrification is going to slow down as well?
Yeah, but you're still going to have just the people that are gentrifying getting better deals. It's still, that movement is going to continue. And you have places like DC and, urban areas that are going to be more attractive, anyway. Always are going to have that demand, that basic demand. But during the pandemic, most of the growth in the real estate was people saying, oh, I don't have to live in the city anymore. Remember that? And they started moving to the suburbs. So they were going out, so it's, but all of that is slowing down now, and it's going to be a consistent movement down lower, but I don't know if what you want will still be there. And that's the challenge. What you want, will it be available to you? Are you able to wait? But I saw this, what was like 2008, 2009? Same thing. Same thing. And then some people waited, some people bought anyway, and I remember a family member. And I said, well, you know what? I don't feel good about this. It took 10 years. We still have some of our neighborhoods, PG County, that remember this. They were running like huge articles about homeowners being underwater. They had to stay. You just have to wait it out. So if you buy, that's the ugly part. Like if you buy and you buy too high and then you want to get out, you can't. You're going to have to come up with that money. I mean, and there's people's homes that were like 100,000, 200,000 underwater, meaning they owed more on the loan than the house was appraised for.
Right. Hold that thought right there, JB. We got to take a short break. Chris in Virginia also wants to get in on this conversation. You too can join us at 800-450-7876. And we'll take your calls after the short break on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Did you hear about the girl who ordered this miracle clay and it grew her hair 6 inches in a month? Yeah, urban legends won't magically grow your hair, but there's a breakthrough new regimen from Gold Series that actually can make a difference. The Gold Series
that's so
New Lace
good.
Collection was designed
Thank you,
by Black
Rosita.
scientists, especially for textured hair.
I'm rocking my
formula,
books.
which includes
Let's see.
avocado oil and green tea, protects
Get
your
the
precious
bush.
new growth from breakage.
Get the
For
bush.
longer, stronger hair. Introducing
I got to get comfortable with it again. Thank you.
I am Dr. Sheila Woodhouse, and I joined the team at University of Maryland Capital Region Health as the cardiology director in the medical group practice at the National Harbor.
Oh, thank you, Snoopy D.
Starting today, begin to embrace the American Heart
Oh, so good.
Simple 7. The American Heart Association Simple 7
Thank
suggests
y'all so much. Y'all so good.
Control your cholesterol, eat
Woo.
better, manage your blood pressure, lose weight, reduce blood sugar,
Breathe.
and stop smoking. I would also like to add that
Can't
you should
post
minimize
to
and
some
have a plan
channels,
in
it
dealing with
says.
stress
I'm
and
just so
depression.
glad we're not having
These are all
technical
risk
problems,
factors for
y'all.
heart and vascular disease. Be the center of change
Oh,
and the center of your healthcare
Rusa,
We look
thank
forward
you.
to walking on the journey with
So
you
positive.
as you change up the health
That's
of
so
your heart
sweet.
today.
This medical
Thank
moment
you.
is brought to you
Thank
by
you, Ms.
University
Potts.
of Maryland Capital Region Health. To learn more about the
You're so
services
sweet.
they provide to change up the health of this
Let's
community,
keep
visit
moving forward.
umcapitalregion.org.
This is our last break. I think maybe one more. One more break after this. Remember, Wednesday night, y'all, we are doing health part 2, because last week with the audio, I figured it out. My Ethernet was not plugged into the back of the computer, so it kept going into Wi-Fi. But the Wi-Fi here works great. Thank God. The Wi-Fi, I don't like depending on Wi-Fi at all. If you don't have to.
If you're 45 or older, you need to get yourself screened for colon cancer. This disease can be very treatable when caught early. So the sooner you know what's up with your health, the better. The good news is that there's options for getting screened that are easier than you think. Get informed.
I can't remember if we were talking about some
when would be fitted in, bro?
real estate.
It just might mean more time with your family down the road. If you're a man or a woman, 45 or older, I'm talking to you. I've lost good friends, young friends, to colon cancer. Don't make the mistake of waiting until you have symptoms or think that you have no risk because it doesn't run in your family. Everybody needs to be screened. So take control. Get screened for colon cancer, 45 or older. Learn how. StandUpToCancer.org/colon cancer.
Housing sentiment at its lowest level.
And thanks for staying with us, folks. Our guest is financial advisor J.B. Bryan. If you'd like to speak to J.B., reach out to us at 800-450-7876. Before we go back to J.B., I just want to remind you at the top of the hour, Dr. James Taylor is going to join us. He's a black politics expert. We're going to talk about Black History Month. The reality, do we still need Black History Month, or the importance of Black History Month? It's also going to touch on the issues involving Whoopi Goldberg and Brian Flores and more. Later this week, you're going to hear from the man with a plan, and Dr. Claude Anderson is going to join us, and also Griot, based in Washington, D.C. Baba Lumumba will be here. So if you're in the DMV, keep your radio locked on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. So, JB, I'm going to let you finish your thought, then we'll speak with Chris in Virginia.
I wanted to share like that Fannie Mae, the information that Fannie Mae has released about home purchasing. They said that home purchase sentiment in January, this past January, fell to its lowest level since May of 2020, back at the start of the pandemic. So due to weaker affordability is clearly the problem. So 1/4 of the respondents said that it is now a good time to buy. So that's only 25%, but that's a record low. But on the flip side, 69% said it's a good time to sell. So that can tell you how inconsistent something could be. But so
All right. As I
things are
mentioned, Chris is
changing.
waiting for us.
Okay.
800-450-7876. Chris is calling from Virginia. He's on line 2. Chris, you're on with JB.
Greetings, Brother Kwesi and Sister JB Bryant.
Thank you.
I love listening to your call, coming in on your calls. Very, very informative. But I have one question to ask you. Have you ever heard of a type of fraud that's called home title fraud?
Whoa.
Where criminals can literally remove your name or your home title.
Yeah.
And then they can put it in their name and take out loans
Yep.
in your house, and you won't know about it till it was long after it's done.
Yep.
When the bills start coming in, and people have lost their homes. If you know about that, could you tell us a little about that, please?
Yeah, and you know, Les Brown kind of similarly. Have you heard about that story where he bought his mother a house and the lawyer said, let's do a title search. Let's do a title search. And the seller said, you got to get this done. We got to get this done quick. And then Les said, well, okay. He said, you can trust me, man. You can trust me. And Les said, okay. And it was this big, beautiful house. So he buys the house for his mom, and there was title fraud on it. Yep. And there was like $50,000, and he had to move everything back out. And that's just an example of like things that truly are happening to people. And sometimes people actually allow the person to do it, but they don't know what they're doing. Like, say they go, I'm about to foreclose on my house, right? And then they go, okay, they see this company, and the company or some little small business or some person, and they say, hey, I can save your house. I can save you from this. And then generally it's a senior, and then they go, okay, please help me. And they go, yeah. And they have huge amounts of equity and everything in their house and stuff. So, they're they feel like they're really saving them because they need this help at that particular time. They take the help. The person gets the title or the deed. They get the deed for their house through this transaction. And then they go and put the things on the house. You know what I mean? Then they go and start adding things and using that house as collateral.
Right.
And that's how it happens.
What I'm talking about is something even much more simpler than that.
Wow.
Somebody can go online because our deeds and everything is public record. And they can do this without even seeing you,
oh my God,
knowing you. I mean, I just
terrible.
found out about this because I saw it was an infomercial, really, with Newt Gingrich, of all people. And they were selling title fraud insurance protection.
Let me come here for a second, because I know some counties there's a system, they have an alert. There's any change to your title, they'll shoot you an email. So I think people should check and see if they're, not all counties. I'm not sure if all counties have it, but some counties have that.
Good
people
point.
Should check to make sure that nobody jumps on their title.
That's a good point. Great advice. Because that insurance, I'd hate to see people start doing that, but insurance makes a lot of money off our fears, But oh my goodness, that's horrible.
Yeah, they don't have to see you. They don't have to talk to you. They could just go in there and do it. You're right, Brother Kwesi. They can, some people would be alerted, but in most cases, they are not alerted. And you think that, okay, this, no one's checking. You think somebody's checking? The bank is, no, as long as they got their money, it's over to them.
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
know,
everybody who's got any kind of real
Yeah.
estate, you should
That's
check
why
if
I
your
don't
county
think
has
that's
that.
yeah. I don't think that stuff
Yeah.
should be public information, and that's something that we really should change. That Congress, as far as why should somebody be able to go and see that?
Mhm. Yeah, and so they were
That's
advertising their
woo.
insurance that for $19 a month supposedly
Okay.
you can they'll alert you when the thing is happening.
Mm.
I'm just saying there's all kinds of
But
stuff
think
out
about
there.
how much money they're gonna make. Like that's really sad because the small number of people that it'll actually happen to. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get paid for
Right.
everybody. But that I'm glad that you brought that up because even the long way, you know what I mean? Like what I was saying, like this, most people don't know that these things happen. But yeah, we definitely need to be careful. And I remember this one brother was telling me about he refinanced his home and they still have on his title a loan that he refinanced out of. Like, and he can't prove that he paid that loan. So like he's been like caught up in that like 10 years. And it's like, but he can't get it off. Like, and they want to sell it or something. I don't know, but I'm like, how in the world could that happen?
And it becomes your word against their word that you are who you are and that you own your house.
And they're not going to. And see, the title company is supposed to, right? The title company that did his closing was supposed to, or the lawyer was supposed to get that right, correct? Yeah, they were supposed to get that loan off. So you do, who would think to check?
Yeah, that's just it. They don't. We think they are, but no one's checking.
True. Yes, they could be doing. You're right. They could be doing closings and not even doing what they said they were doing.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's interesting.
Yes.
Ray Clark. So let's talk about cryptocurrency. The new mayor of New York, he took his salary in cryptocurrency. Crypto went down. Is it a mistake, or when you get into crypto, is it you got to play for the long game, or did he you think he made a mistake?
Well, I definitely think he made a mistake. But I think he was trying to make a statement, and you never know if he was compensated on the other side. That's kind of frightening. But there's a lot of things when it comes to cryptocurrency that are advertising and promotion. And they're not, regulated, heavily in our country yet. But you see there's a movement of more and more, countries either kicking them out, or forcing them to be regulated. And we have a ways to go, but I would think that anybody that's in cryptocurrency needs to realize what the future of cryptocurrency is. The future is heavy regulation. It's just going to happen. And then what are you see now already the price consequences of every time the government says, oh, we're going to look at this. Oh, we're going to monitor this. Oh, we're going, the price takes a hit. So, we definitely, as an investor, you need to realize, where is the future of it globally and how sensitive it is to everything that happens. And, we think the stock market is sensitive, but it's hypersensitive. Like Elon Musk comes out and says, Bitcoin is bad for the economy, bad for the environment. It goes crazy. So as long as the investor understands the risk, I hope the mayor of New York, realized that, he lost, a portion of his paycheck, by doing that, but maybe he didn't.
I think you're right. I think he was trying to make a statement. He was trying to make New York the cryptocurrency of the world. But let's roll back to real estate because I got another tweet question for you. The person was listening to your comments with your conversation with Chris. I want to know if you think the same thing about reverse mortgages. I know you've talked about it before, but this person's got that question for you today.
Yeah, reverse mortgages are a whole different challenge, but they could be helpful for some people who are saying they don't want to keep the asset into the family or there's no one to inherit it. But I think a lot of times people choose it because it's an easy option, but like I don't understand. And hopefully, one day, but there is nothing in my mind. Like the last time someone came to see me about a reverse mortgage, I told them what a refinance was and a cash out refinance. And they said, "Oh my God, that's all I need to do?" And I said, "Yeah, just take the cash out." It was like, "You can do that?" Yeah, you can do that. But I think that, we think that we have to do the the reverse mortgage in order to get the payment, but you could actually just do a cash out refinance and get a lump sum. So I don't I think that some people
That's interesting. All right.
Yeah,
Let's say you get a lump sum, JB. What do you do with it?
yeah, and then you generate the monthly income. But if you know someone like me, you have a trusted financial advisor, you can make way more money. If you look at it historically, typically not even just looking at historical performance, the investment market has outperformed residential real estate. So you're taking out the value. Now, I'm not suggesting to anybody, I'm not telling you to do this. We're just talking about options over reverse mortgages. And you take that out, we invest it over the long term, you could end up with a lot more than what the house, and you still have your house. And your house can still be inherited. So but there's options, but I just think that nobody talks to us because the people who do reverse mortgages make a lot of money. People that do cash out refis make a lot of money, but look, he's like, but what about you, JB? Yeah, exactly. Look, like people that invest. Huh?
Person who was considering, just give us one example for the person who was considering the reverse mortgage, and he says they could take the money out and they could make more money, making more money with that money taken out.
That's right. We can invest it. Like we put it in a portfolio that's across all different asset classes. We say they get $1 million out of that. You start generating 50,000 and you still have your $1 million working for you. Say we just take out 40,000, but 4%, between 3 and 4% is a good percentage of taking income from. You have $1 million from your house. You're going to get, that's all they're doing. When they do a reverse mortgage, they're just doing it for you, well, for themselves. And then they charge you a fee on top of that. They're a truck. They,
hold that thought right, JB, and I'll let you finish that thought on the other side. We got to take a short break so some of our stations can identify themselves down the line. Stations like FM 95.9 and AM 1450, WOL, where information is power.
But instead of giving you the whole 30 or 40 or 50,000, they just give you 20,000, and the person's excited. $2,000 a month. They're all excited. I did a reverse mortgage and got $2,000 a month. I realizing they could have taken a lump sum, generated income from it. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. So positive. We got this. That's the.
And Branch Avenue, and your one extra
Thank you.
on the hour move with your County Branch Avenue with a possible new
Please go to afroeconomics.com and get on my email list so we can keep in touch. It's Gallo
in Alexandria from the Eisenhower Avenue connector approaching the Wilson Bridge. I'm Taryn Galbraith, the News Talk 1450 AM.
Snoopy D's out there somewhere.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do.
Oh.
Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement.
Uh-oh.
A free 3-minute online check can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and
Oh,
the Ad
thank
Council.
you. Oh, Glass Star.
WOL, Washington, D.C. W240DJ, Washington. 95.9 WMMJ, HD3, Bethesda. WKYS, HD3, Washington. WPRS, HD3, Waldorf, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
The Carl Nelson Show on 1450 and 95.9 worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
And thank you for staying with us, folks. Norman Cello is speaking with Dr. James Taylor right now. We're with J.B. Bryant. And J.B., I'm going to let you finish your thought because, I know people have seen these commercials with these influential actors, trying to tell people the finer points or the best points of doing that refi, not that refi, but getting that money back. So I'm going to let you finish your thoughts. When you hear that, when you see that, what do you do?
And specifically the reverse mortgages, when you see that, don't just think that's your only option in order to live off the equity of your house. And I think in a better world, it could be to get the equity from your house, make money off the equity in your house, and then live off the money that you make. That's an option. That is an option. We don't even entertain it as an option because, when you I mean, I've had so many situations because it takes actual time and you actually have to think it through and understand. It's not like, that we don't want to do that, but we really deserve it. Somewhere behind the process is our answer. And we have to be willing to go through the process to get to the answer. That which comes like right in our face is generally very convenient. It's real easy, doesn't take any time. We got to stay away from those situations. They have robbed our community long enough. We got to look at what is the very best use of my assets that I have worked on my entire life. That's the way we have to see it. You have paid into that house for 30 years, and then you just think, and you just give it away. You just give away everything that you've put into it. No, we need to think it through. We can't give up, at the end. We got to run hard all the way through the finish line. We really do.
We're at the finish line right now, JB. JB, before we let you go, how can folks reach you if they want some more information? Because a lot of times they'll call after the show is over and ask questions. I don't have the answer. So how can they reach you?
Go to afroeconomics.com or jbbryan.com. Go to any social media. Just make sure that you go out there and just put in JB and then BRYAN. That's also my phone number, 1-844-JB-BRYAN with no T. But I'm right there available to you. Take advantage of the free membership of Afro Economics. Get empowered. I think our association and our support for one another is going to make a huge difference down the road. Let's get started.
Yeah, and JB, I know you do a lot of TV shows as well. Are you doing any?
Yes.
Do you have any coming up?
Wednesday night. It's about Black History Month. At 8 p.m. after Carl's show. Wednesday night live. And Black History Month is about health and wellness. So I'm talking about financial wealth and financial health, how it actually they impact each other. And it's the 10th principle of Afro economics is Black health, Black wealth. Our health is our wealth. And on Fridays, I do members only live. We talk one-on-one. Everybody turn on your camera. Unless I have the top 10 things that happen in the market this week. And then there's a business roundtable on Fridays. And then on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, morning. Every Sunday morning, I do Sunday at Sunrise. It's a Bible-based financial empowerment discussion.
All right. Thank you,
Right.
JB.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate you, Carl. Have a good night.
All right. All right, for you too. 800-450-7876. Dr. James Taylor, welcome back to WOL Radio.
Great to be back on the Carl Nelson Show, Carl.
Yes, sir. And in February, Black History Month. So what's the importance